Would old acquaintance be for...
Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year's. I wanted to create something fun for you guys that you can wear with just about any outfit really that you have planned for New Year's. Whether you're with friends, family, or you're on a date night, this is really pretty. It's very soft and romantic. It photographs really very, I didn't know which word to use, so really very nicely, and I'm using fun products in here, most of which were created by women, so I think it's a really fun, look. But with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. There's some great info here about, foundations, about skincare, and about making an eye look as well. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Let's go ahead and get started. So to get started on today's look, I'm just going to be grabbing some skincare. So I'm going to start off with the 1000 Roses Floral Toner. And what this is supposed to do is balance the pH levels in our skin and make it more susceptible for all of our moisturizers and serums to soak into our skin and provide us the nourishment we need. Without this, the skincare can sit on top of the skin and not provide us necessary ingredients to our health. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be taking here is a serum. And what a serum is 5 times concentrate live acidic product, basically. And what's nice about it is you can mix it with your moisturizers. So in that sense, a serum is much more neutral. It can be put with moisturizers to build our idyllic skin type. For instance, if you have an oily skin type but you're also interested in anti-aging, you can go ahead and grab yourself an anti-aging serum and you can combat those issues while still giving yourself potentially what you want. With that being said, typically a product that has no, wet, greasy-ish type of oils, typically that product isn't listed as anti-aging, but respectively a lot of acids that are anti-aging really do help the skin sort of turn back and heal and not produce as much oils. A lot of anti-aging and a lot of high moisturizing ingredients really help quench the skin so it's not just excreting so many things back out onto our skin. So with that being said, a serum is actually very nice and helps us customize our skincare. Now with that being said, I'm about 32 and I don't have major fine lines, but I am kind of more or less using it for prevention than I am to combat what is already visibly there. Next thing I'm going to be taking is the Day Moisturizing Cream. And like I said, this one is very kind of sort of plain. It is anti-aging, but it's really going to help protect the barrier because a serum, once again, is a live acidic property. So without a moisturizer, it's just kind of open. And you don't want to leave your skin open and susceptible to further damage. So if you wanted to add a sunscreen, you would have done so right after the serum and then put your moisturizer on unless your moisturizer already had a little bit of sunscreen. The sunscreen is going to be in my makeup today. And then with that being said, you actually cannot add or build the number in your sunscreen. If it's 50, it's 50. That's the most you're going to get. If your sunscreen is 30 and that's the highest one you have, that's the most you're going to get. If your sunscreen is only 15 and that's the highest number you have, that's the most you're going to get. You can't add 15 and 15 and 15. One of my favorite eye creams right now is the Mad Hippie Eye Cream. This has a little bit of peptide, which is an anti-ager, and white tea. And my skin type is just a little bit more dry due to the heat of the climate change and all that. I just need a little bit more quenching. I think most eye creams I've ever personally seen are anti-aging. So now I'm going to be taking my BareMinerals Prime Time, and this is in brightening. You could take clear, you could take tinted, you could take whatever kind of primer you want. Some primers have healing ingredients in them for certain, issues, redness, anti-aging, sunscreen. So the first product I'm going to be taking color-wise is the BareMinerals 5-in-1, and this is the shade Luminous Pearl, and this is just going to help be sort of a protective barrier for our eyelids. So our shadows don't crease, so the oils on our skin don't break down the eyeshadows. And so the eyeshadow appears just about as potent as it is in the pan, which is what makes us attracted to it in the first place, and just really helps with the blending so it doesn't appear muddy. So I'm going to be reaching for 2 women-owned company palettes. So the first one I'm going to be taking today is Makeup Geek, and these colors are very kind of plain and basic. I'm going to be using them for the brow and the transition because they do suit my skin tone. So go ahead and take whatever you like that's your, sort of your basics. And we're starting off with Vanilla Bean from Makeup Geek and just grabbing, a good little inexpensive brush. This is from e.l.f., it's from the mineral line, and we're just going to use it. It's basically just a tapered blender. And we're going to be buffing that underneath the arch of the brow bone. This dramatically creates lid space and cleans up any potential stray brow hairs. Luminous Pearl is a great eyeshadow base as well because it's kind of satiny, but it can be quite pale. So Vanilla Bean is really great just to kind of level it out. And you can use Luminous Pearl with just about any skin tone. Once you put your eyeshadows on, it's not that intense. But I just use like a thin layer of Luminous Pearl. So the next color I'm going to be taking from Makeup Geek is Frappe. And this is going to be our transition color. So basically all of the colors in the look are going to be joined right into this nice basic. This is going to be sort of the catalyst of the eye, the starting point, the center point, the joining point. And if any eyeshadows should get sort of like a funny, scratchy, kind of unfinished look, and you could practically end right there on the eye. So if you put this all on, you realize, oh my god, I have almost no time left. You could smear on some tinted moisturizer and kind of leave. So I always kind of like to have the good basics down. But the next palette I'm going to be taking is the Neapolitan Ice Cream, and this was launched by Beauty Bakery. Once again, another woman-owned makeup brand that is known for their diversity. I think that this is a black-owned woman brand. Not that it matters, but also Makeup Geek is a woman-owned brand, and I just thought it would be nice to take something that was from a small company to support my fellow woman, basically. And so I picked up this Neapolitan Ice Cream. And now, the reason why I took these 2 very soft colors in here is because the very beautiful thing about Beauty Bakery is a lot of their colors are designed for women who are not just, Anglo-Saxon looking, blonde hair, blue eyes. So there are a lot of very rich transition colors in here. So I just took a couple helpers because I happen to be so fair. And this happens to be very sparkly and very, very shiny. I didn't necessarily want that on my brow bone. If you didn't want to take a separate palette, you could definitely skip the brow bone color and go straight into something like Wafer, which I have personally used as a transition color. I kind of just wanted to use matte as a catalyst for the eye. But these colors in here are absolutely beautiful, so we're going to be taking them today. And I do like that it is a nice deeper palette, and it's actually very greatly priced. So I do want to get one for my pro kit because I'm actually the minority in California as far as skin color goes, and I really love the tonality, the depth, and how smooth and creamy these pigments are. So let's just go ahead and start using these because I've said a lot already about how fabulous I think that they are. So the next color I want to be taking for this look is Pistachio from the Neapolitan Ice Cream palette, which happens to be my favorite ice cream flavor. And you do have a good little mirror in there. So I'm just going to be blending that over Frappe. And it's a nice, very warm brown with just a hint of like a velvet texture. Not a frosty texture, a velvet texture. And this was one of my main colors I wore on Christmas Day in that Instagram shot. So I absolutely love this color. It's absolutely gorgeous. And let me know in the bottom bar below if you know of any other woman-owned brand, women of color brands, all those things that happen to be, cruelty-free and smaller owned brands. So we're not just throwing money at corporations. We're we're at a time right now where we definitely want to, you know, give small brands a helping shot in this sort of strange economy. So that is pistachio, and once again, if you really want to sort of help blend out the color, we're going to go back into vanilla bean and just kind of blend that out a little bit, keep it nice and smooth. Very pretty. Okay, so the next color I'm going to be taking is powdered sugar. And so we're gonna double dip. I'm gonna be taking a little bit of drive-through, but I'm also going to be taking Makeup Geek's blah 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 Bada Bing. And just make it nice and smoky. And basically, drive-through is a lot more matte than Bada Bing, so it'll just be kind of adding some depth and pulling it together without making it look kind of dry and harsh, like we took like an intense pencil. I don't want that look. I want it to look very fluid. Going back into Frappe, I'm just going to take a touch of that. Like I said, we're going to blend out the brow color just so it looks very nice and fluid. And we're not taking like another brush because it'll kind of dejoin the look. We already have all those colors kind of in the pigment of the brush, so it'll help make it look more smooth and fluid. So now I'm going to be taking Better London's Union Jack Black. It's one of their eye winks. And we're going to be putting this on the waterline and a little bit below it so we can smudge it out. My puppy. I'm also going to be taking that color on top. We will be smudging it so it's even. Now I'm taking the Milani Liquid Eye Tech. And we're just gonna get in there and kind of not so much sharpen up the line, because that's why I have the pencil there, to make it look really smooth. We're just gonna make it look inkier and blacker by staying below the smudged line. So now I drew a little triangle. We're just gonna color it in. I want it to be very So the next color I'm going to be taking is pistachio again, and we're just going to use this with a pencil brush. This is the E30 from Sigma. We're just going to kind of smooth out. This also keeps the pencil on the lower lash line from like smearing and going down all over the face. I can't stress that enough. I have so many people say it gets all over everywhere. You really have to set creams. I hate to say it, but sometimes when they're just kind of naked and not smudged out or not set with a powder, they're just gonna move. So I'm gonna go ahead now and take powdered sugar, which was that kind of lid color we took, and we're kind of creating like an effect around the eye where it just wraps and wraps and wraps. So we're just gonna help it wrap some more by taking powdered sugar. If you really want to make it glisten and sing, we're going to be taking chocolate chip, which is the lightest color. So just kind of lightly cleaning off that brush on a Kleenex, your wrist, what have you, and just lightly dabbing. You can either take your luminous pearl 5-in-1 or chocolate chip or both, depending on how intense you want the highlight to be. With a cream, it'll be more intense. It's up to you. And we're just going to place that, but really be sure to buff it out. And the reason I'm taking the powder and not the cream, even though I do like a nice, pretty intense highlight, is I don't want this to kind of look like there's something in the eye. And I feel like if it's not blended out, if it just kind of starts and stops like right there, if you will, it just looks like there's, you know, the eye is excreting something. So unadorable. So now I'm going to be taking mascara, and I'm going to be taking the Lash Domination. This is the one with the little curly one. Some stores will still have like the 2 packs for $19, which is the price of one. So definitely, if you can, give those a go if you haven't tried them out first, because you know, a lot of people never know what they're going to like. They always get one thinking they're going to like it and they end up loving the other. So the 2-pack is a great deal if you haven't tried it before. This is the one with the big kind of curly brush, which a lot of people with short lashes think they're not going to like, but it really does kind of help curl them. So I'm going to be taking the Ardell Curvy Lashes today, and I really just want to make that eye look a little bit more whimsical. I know we used a lot of neutrals, and I have been getting a lot of persistent requests for color, and a lot of reason I choose neutrals, especially for holiday looks these days, is because they photograph really nicely. And of course you could take anything that I've shown you and try new shapes, try new colors, try new combinations. I'm just here to show you one way to do it and show you different techniques on blending and different, you know, products, but it's and I will be doing some more colors shortly. I typically do something somewhat romantic for New Year's. So once those lashes are completely on, the best way to conceal any possible error, of course, would be to look in the mirror. And then the other one would be to just gently line a little bit of eyeliner underneath the top of the edge of the lash. It'll conceal any lash glue, and if you're like me who's wearing them a second time, it'll conceal any powder from the previous look, any glitter perhaps. So with that being said, we're just going to kind of cleanscape the face before we put on foundation. Lightly pick up what we don't need with the Beauty Blender, which is why I don't use a brush or my finger, because a finger will actually give you some of the heaviest application. Now, looking back at a video I just filmed, this looked gorgeous on camera, and this is the Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel in Opal. Gives you a much needed glisten, gives my dry skin a much needed glisten, and just for a little bit more of a fuller coverage, I'm taking the Buxom Show Some Skin Weightless Foundation in the shade Fair Game. This is a little bit more neutral, and the Buxom Weightless Foundation is comparable to the Bare Skin. Its ingredients are just a little bit more ideal for oily to combination skin. So we're just going to apply that with the Beauty Blender, and I would probably never apply the Complexion Rescue alone with the Beauty Blender because it is also coconut alkaline. It's just thinner. Because coconut is probably the most hydrant rich formula you can ever put into skincare, and so it would just get absorbed into the Beauty Blender and be wasted. So the next thing I'm going to be taking is BareMinerals Well Rested, and this is just going to clean up the under eye area and make us look really well rested. I love this for a good smoky eye, and a lot of people love this too because they feel that they have discoloration underneath their eyes. And I say it like that not to be condescending, but just to bring out the fact that everybody feels that they look restless underneath the eye area, what's probably just a drop shadow from their eye socket. So I really do mean that as a compliment. Most people have better skin than they think they do. But, not everybody loves me to share that, but since when am I not stubborn? So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this underneath my eye. So we're just going to lightly retouch the eye, going into powdered sugar, and then the little tapered blender, just so it doesn't look like there's like a hard kind of pencil carved line. I like everything to just kind of blend into the skin. Now I'm taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pencil in the shade Caramel. And the one thing I don't like about roll-up pencils is that you never can tell when you're out. So I've already bought a backup, kind of copying my customers who always buy multiples of their basics. It's just always nice not to run out. So I already bought a backup of this one because I've been an Anastasia Brow user for years, and I really like the Brow Definer. There's just a bit more product in there than the Brow Wiz, but I haven't been loving the soft lines of the Dip Brow of late, just because I have a little bit more eyebrow than I used to. And I was looking at old photos of myself back when I wore pencils, which is what prompted me to buy the Dip Brow. And I was like, that looks like a horrible, harsh line. But I think if you have enough eyebrow hairs, it just lightly feathers in. So even though I hate the way they look without the pencil, I'm not going to wear them out like that anyway. So Taking my BareMinerals Hydrating Veil, I'll just hydrate the skin. Now, not everyone bronzes and contours like me. Some people really love the E shape, but I think that can look like mismatched foundation. And all under here, you really have to blend that down the neck. And I find that very stage technique-y, and a lot of product on the face will detract from the overall focus of the look. So, you know, I do like the idea of less gimmicks and more fun. I've had a lot of people tell me that if you brighten up under here, it can detract from wrinkles, and I have some clients that say it attracts the appearance of wrinkles, like it just amplifies them. So I don't feel like everybody's techniques work for other people, so whatever works for you is perfectly fine. I'm just taking Pure Radiance now from BareMinerals, and it's a more finely milled all over face color. I really like this one because it's got a transparent base with some, you know, finely milled champagne shimmer. So I've even put this on dark skin, and it doesn't look all kind of funny and white. It's actually quite dark, so you have to kind of buff it in if you're pale like me. Now taking Vintage Peach, which is a pretty vintage peach. It's got a lot of shimmer in it. This is actually an all over face color, so it's a little bit more finely milled than a typical blush. And if you're very, very, very dark, like almost like with a purple undertone, you might really like this as a highlighter instead. It doesn't show up on some skin tones, just a heads up. So now onto the lips. I'm taking the Buxom. This is the Wildly Whipped Soft Matte Lip Color, and there is a plumber in here. That's what makes it different from the Bare Essentials one. And this is in the shade Wondrous. And so, oops, I'm gonna go ahead and put this pretty petally pink color on. And it does slightly oxidize, just a heads up, it won't stay this light. But I think it does add some interest to the look. I think if we did a full nude lip that maybe didn't plump up, it would be a lot more, you know, boring. So for those of you who are lip fanatics, this is a fun New Year's look for you. I know not everybody cares what happens in the ball drops. I know most people probably don't even have their lipstick on with the ball drops from eating and drinking and whatnot. But to go out in just to make, you know, your first official, like, here I am, here's my outfit, I'm here to have fun and show up kind of look, this is definitely super fun. And regardless of whether the lip stays on or not, the eyes, I always like to do something fun for the eyes for New Year's. This one didn't have a lot of sparkle. Not everybody likes glitter on the eyes, and it could get inside the eyes. But there's a lot of shimmer, and it will photograph beautifully, including the glistening skin. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thank you so much.